Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an Instant Classic.
And you're... Woo!
And we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid. We'll see you on the flippity-dippity. Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always still an Instant Classic, because we haven't said that in a while. So I just wanted to, let you know that it's still an Instant Classic. It is a legit boss Instant Classic, even though she's not on NXT anymore. But whatever. We're going to talk about NXT nonetheless. Pretty good show, I thought, this week. We saw some people, get destroyed that deserved it, but we'll get into that. One of them had red hair. We'll get into that, though. So it basically, the show opened up kind of talking about how, if you hadn't seen in the news, which I don't know how you wouldn't see if you're a wrestling fan, on Facebook or something, how Samoa Joe won the NXT title in Lowell, Massachusetts, and now everyone's going to know where Lowell, Massachusetts is. That's probably like the most...
There's a city named Lowell?
Lowell. Lowell. I actually know somebody...
I thought it was LOL.
No. But I actually know somebody from Lowell, Massachusetts, so it's kind of cool. But first match we open up with... did you have any thoughts on the opening that we already knew about?
I guess it's one of those things where, like, I'm glad they did say something about it. Just because, not everybody keeps up with, like, the background stuff. I try my best to stay away from it, but when you're in, like, one wrestling group or two wrestling groups, stuff gets thrown out. So it was nice that it was mentioned. You saw the thing about the Bayley injury too. It's one of those things you don't necessarily see until you watch the show. So I felt like it was one of those things that was actually it was beneficial. But my issue was later on they would show this, and I guess we'll talk about it later. But later on they would show highlights from it. They have the match on tape. Just play the frickin' match. I'm just saying.
Anyway, we got Asuka versus Eva Marie. Surprisingly, though, I was really excited for this match. I was excited to see Asuka finally relieve us of the torture of ever having to see Eva Marie again. Because we knew after this match she was just going to be dead. And we got to see the crocodile prey on the baby deer again. And it was glorious. I mean, Eva is so bad that not only did Asuka have to carry this entire match, but Nia Jax had to come down and coach Eva and tell her what to do, and she still couldn't win the match. It was horrible. She just should have put her out of her misery. I know that DJ is going to have some sort of alternate, theory on this, or, he's going to try to talk her up. It's not going to work. But thoughts on the match, DJ?
It was interesting. Asuka's still wearing that thong. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
She's still wearing the thong over the tights. But I thought it was cool seeing Asuka as the champion. We haven't seen anyone but Bayley in such a long time, so it's kind of cool to see, get that feel for her being the champion. I've always wondered, does she's walking down to the ring? Because you can't tell because, like, the mask is big enough to cover her with. Anyway, I don't know. I wonder about these things. But this match was longer than I expected. At first, I was like, this is a very limiting match to me. Because I know we talked about, divas, women, not too long ago, in a video before. But I was just wondering, at first, when it first started, it felt like it was very limiting. It felt like Asuka wasn't able to do all that she could. But then like this match went on a lot longer than I expected. It was actually a pretty long match, and I was really surprised by that. And this is like kind of what I was saying. Like Asuka's gonna look strong regardless. Justin had mentioned jobber matches are really good, and of course he's not here to defend himself, but that's his fault. But I feel like this was one of those matches where like it wasn't necessarily a jobber match, but you knew Asuka being the champion, she's gonna win. And Asuka being as dominant as she is, she's probably gonna be dominant. So you don't need Eva Marie to necessarily job out for for you to still feel like they in a positive light on both sides. But I definitely I thought this match was actually pretty decent, and it was longer than I actually expected. I love the Asuka Nia Jax face offs. I think it's the second or third time we've seen this little kind of stare down. So I'm definitely liking that. I wonder how that's gonna play with the stiff nature of Asuka, and just how massive Nia Jax is. I just like I'm wondering how I'm not trying to be mean, but it's freaking true. Like
Yeah.
we can we put this double standard here when we say, oh, we want women to be compared to men, but then if I say that the huge lady, I would say that about Big Show. That's not even a true comparison. I would say I feel bad now. I would say that about her same stature. Let's just say ZZ, for example. ZZ's a big fella. He is a rotund fella. So I can say that about Nia Jax, but in all seriousness, though, I am really excited to not put my foot in my mouth anymore with Nia Jax, and I want to see how see Asuka's foot in Nia Jax's mouth, because I think that match, once that finally happens, because I feel like Nia Jax is the only one that's kind of ready right now, because I'm still confused on what they're doing with Eva. She was on the main roster for like a night, so I think it's still very freaking. But I'm still wondering what's going to happen, because I think the Asuka match could be really.
Yeah.
Okay, make fun of me for saying huge lady and robust and rotund.
No, I was gonna give credit to Eva Marie, because this wasn't a jobber match. She was legitimately doing the best that she could. That was her A game. That was her A game in this match. It was not a jobber match. That was her A game. That is the best she has. She put her heart and soul into that match, and it still looked like a jobber match. But anyway, we're gonna move on and go past the fact that Nia Jax is a huge lady. So, as we were saying before, they showed highlights of the NXT Championship match. Why don't you just show the match, the entire match? Oh my. Do you have any other thoughts on this? Because it's just.
I mean, my thing with this is, even if you like, I'm fine with showing highlights during the show, because you're like, okay, you don't want to like mess up the flow of the show. You feel like the show is flowing well, so you show like highlights here and there, or highlights at this point. But I feel like somewhere they should put it on the network. If they have the footage, like it's obvious they have the footage. We like it would be different if they just had the pictures, like if they were just like pictures here. You know how they do little images like they would do on like Monday Night Raw or something. But they actually had the video footage, so that obviously that they had the match somewhere. And I know it wasn't someone's cell phone, because they can't get that. So like I feel like it's one of those things, like, why don't you just show the whole match? So, or maybe put it as like a network exclusive thing that they don't really do anymore. So like you don't necessarily have to watch it, but if you want to watch it, it's there for you.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why they didn't show it, but moving on, we got the Revival. Seems like it's been a while since we've seen the Revival for some reason. Versus Matt and Jeff. Not the Hardy Boys. Another Matt and Jeff. They're not related. They have different last names, but AKA Jamoke number 1 and Jamoke number 2. Just makes it easier. Jamoke number 2 started a defense chant. I don't think he understands how professional wrestling works.
I know what it is. He's the Jeff of this equation.
Except he was the Matt, actually.
Oh.
But anyway, after the match, Dash and Dawson basically cut a promo. It's basically the same all the time, we're going to get our titles back, blah, 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 which I still don't think they should do in NXT. I think you should have one title run and then work to the main roster, because that's ultimately your goal, is to get to the main roster. So why would you want to stay in NXT and just fight over the same titles over and over again when you're trying to? It just doesn't make sense to me. But any thoughts on the match or the promo?
I mean, it was this was what more so what I was talking about with the jobber thing. It just didn't make any sense. Like, what? They were named, like, I don't know if they were named 3D, but they had 3D on their little pants or whatever, on the tights. So I was like, so it's a mixture between the Dudleys and the Hardys. I see what y'all trying to do. I get it. But I don't know. It was just, it didn't make any sense to me. I just didn't know why this was happening. I don't know. It was an okay match.
They might have been trained by the Dudleys. I know the Dudleys have like the 3D wrestling school or something like that. So that could have been why. I don't know. But I was trying to figure out what that logo was. For a second, it looked like the DX logo, and I was like, what? Why? But anyway, next we got, for some reason, the Hype Bros are back together because, they said, screw you to freaking Zack Ryder. We're not going to give you what you deserve with the Intercontinental title. We're going to throw you back in the Hype Bros, which isn't a problem. It's just, come on. The guy's been in WWE for so long. Give him a title run that lasts more than a day. Versus Blake and Murphy, which didn't have Alexa Bliss, so no Alexa, no point, basically. I don't know. I didn't like this match, so I gave it to DJ. It felt random and just thrown together to me, out of nowhere on top.
Yeah, I don't know what. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, they have like certain takeovers to build to, and they know where they're going. But I don't know. It seems like, I don't know if it seems like NXT has too much time because, like, necessarily like doing a great job of building anything right now. There's nothing really that, like, there's nothing that's really building to that next takeover, which is a while from now. I think it's at least a month, probably a month and a little bit more like that. But I don't know if they have like too much time, and that's the issue. They don't really know where to build to. But yeah, this match did feel random. I would love to see the Hype Bros on the main roster. Just because with Zack Ryder's been there for so long, and we've said this before, but I hate to beat the dead horse, but it would make sense. Like, if you're not going to give them the NXT tag titles, then bring him up to the main roster, because Zack Ryder already has that credit on the main roster. Like, I know he's kind of like a jobber, I guess you could say, on the main roster, even though he did win the title. But I mean, we were all shocked when we did the review, when we talked about it. We were all really shocked about it. So I feel like it wouldn't be an issue to bring him up with Mojo Rawley, because I think he does. I wouldn't say he necessarily carries Mojo Rawley, because I love Mojo Rawley, because he ain't hype. I love Mojo Rawley, but I feel like Zack Ryder helps him out a little bit, especially with the main roster fans. Like, I feel like, Mojo has his distinct character that, pardon the play of words, but gets people hype, I guess. He has his own like character that people can get into and gravitate towards. The character is similar, but they have a weird way of meshing together. So I feel like if they brought him up to the main roster, even to have some tag team feuds to build themselves up, Like this is kind of a team I'd like to see against the Ascension, where well, I forgot about the suspension. Anyway, this is this is a team I'd like to see go up. Let's just say the Ascension hypothetically, and not necessarily any one job out to anyone, just kind of proving ground type of a thing, like where you work to prove yourself to each other. I think that kind of a good thing. And plus with Zack Ryder, he's already got that main roster cred, so he's already there with that. And I did like that Dash and Dawson attack because at least there's something there. I like that there's a feud outside of the titles. We talked about that in that video earlier too, where there's at least there's something outside of the titles. You don't always have to be fighting for the titles to feel important. I don't know what they're doing with Blake and Murphy though, because they're not even in it. And I feel like they're two talented guys. I just don't know what they're doing with them right now.
Yeah, it is. They're talented, but I feel like their characters still haven't been developed. So like, there's nothing like they're good in the ring. It's just you don't have anything to kind of gravitate to, and the only thing that was keeping them sort of interesting was Alexa Bliss, and now they're trying to do the storyline where there's tension between the three, and but Alexa wasn't even there to like build that up. I don't know. I mean, I have no problem with Alexa going off to do her own thing, and be a singles competitor in the women's division, because that's kind of what I want. But they need to do something with Blake and Murphy to kind of get them more relevant and get the fans more invested in them. Because like we said, they're good, they're talented guys. It's just they're still too generic a little bit, I think. But we'll see what they do in the next coming weeks, I guess. But I think this was not the match of the night. Actually, this might have been the match of the night coming up. We got Carmella. My girl. She looked good tonight. I don't know what it was, but girl. Versus Aaliyah, aka Noof. Yeah, got my girl Noof.
Now you care about her. Now you care about her. When she was in the Battle Royal, you didn't care at all.
I mean, because she didn't look good in the Battle Royal.
Well, it's a Battle Royal. It's a Battle Royal. You can't look that great.
I mean, when you're like Kane or Big Show or somebody, you can look great because you can like eliminate 17 people. But anyway, I was actually really impressed with Noof in this match. I'm gonna call her Noof. I don't care. I think that's a better ring name than Aaliyah. I'm just saying. It felt like it started off a little bit slow, but it did, get pretty good. She did some nice submission work. I felt like her submission work looked really good. You could still tell she was pretty green, like pretty, inexperienced, but she held her own really well. I feel like Carmella helped her out a lot in this match, and it showed a lot from Carmella too. I like that we're seeing more from Carmella and some of these other women that we haven't necessarily seen that much of in singles competition anyway. But Carmella did win via submission because, Noof looked good. She did. But at the end of the day, she's still just a little bit too SAWFT soft. I'm sorry. Thoughts on the match?
I don't know if you caught that one moment during Carmella's promo when her voice got really deep. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this match. I thought it was pretty good, especially Aaliyah's first singles match on television or on the network, whatever we're calling the network. But I'll tell you, Corey Graves mentioned this. Carmella is not the only one who has lost her boys. Yeah, catch the Dalton Castle joke. Anyway, but I don't know what to call that submission, and I'm upset. I want to know the name of this submission that she uses. I want to know. I want to know. But I definitely I like Carmella. Still feel like I don't know. Carmella to me has a different vibe. I think she's good. I think she's good in the ring and all. But I don't know. She's just somebody I get behind, but I can't really like put my whole heart into it for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I feel like with Carmella, if she went up to the main roster, I feel like they would use her like they use Alicia Fox. I just get that feeling like they would just throw her into random feuds and random teams and not really give her
And make her swing her jacket around because that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, because you gotta
And throw soda on people because black people
go crazy for no reason 1 week because I remember that was anyway. But yeah, it was a good match for Aaliyah for her first match. Hopefully we'll see more of her. We get an interview with Elias Sampson where he said more in this interview than he has said the entire time he's been in NXT, which is kind of sad. But any thoughts on the interview before we get into the match?
I don't know. For some reason, I really like Elias Sampson. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the mysterious gimmick that I don't know anything about. But I don't know what it is, man. Something about Sampson. I don't know. And maybe it's just me saying this is developmental. It's not supposed to be perfect. So let's see how it goes. Because I don't know. For some reason, I just really like Elias Sampson. I don't know what they're doing with him because putting him in the ring with Shinsuke Nakamura to get killed. Okay. I just don't understand. Like I just think it's weird that finally they give the man a chance, but then they kind of just throw it. I don't know if they're throwing it away because it wasn't necessarily a jobber match per se, but it's confusing to me. I don't know what they're doing with Elias Sampson. He didn't get an NXT Takeover match. He ended up having to fight the NXT the next week, I think it was. But I don't know. I just think it's weird to me. Like they're not really. I don't know if they're giving him a chance to really go all in with this character because he's trying. But I don't know. I feel like they're like holding his hand and they're like, you can't do this now, son. So I don't understand.
Yeah, but throughout this night, me and Corey Graves, we disagreed on some things. We agreed on some things. One thing that we agreed on is we were excited to see the systematic destruction of the Drifter by Shinsuke Nakamura. And I believe that we did see that. We saw the systematic destruction, not the complete destruction, unfortunately. He'll probably be back. But it sent him a message. It said, hey, you tell us more about your gimmick or you get out of here. You get out, and you play that guitar better because they should at least give you guitar lessons and a better guitar. This is WWE. They can afford it. WWE. But anyway, thoughts on the match because I didn't really write many.
I figured it out. I figured out how to challenge people on ring domination. But anyway, this match.
I had to do that because I don't know how.
This match, I thought it was a pretty good match. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know what it is, and it's not even that he's in WWE. I liked him, but I liked him a lot before. I think I like the music that he has now. It has like a feel, a presence about it for some reason. When he comes out, and I freaking love it, man. Why is he in NXT? But anyway, I'm just still trying to figure out what they're doing with Sampson. This wasn't necessarily like a jobber match. I think they tried to make Sampson look strong, but I don't know if Sampson's the right guy to work with Shinsuke Nakamura in order to make himself look strong. But I thought it was a pretty good match. I'm loving Shinsuke Nakamura. He needs to come up to the main roster like now, like right now. Like screw this NXT crap. Like give him a manager. put Paul Heyman on him or something, because Paul Heyman's doing nothing half the time he's in WWE working with Brock Lesnar. And Paul Heyman can talk about how he's went around the world, so he knows what Shinsuke wants. You know what I mean? So like or make a new manager, because why not? I dropped my stress sheet.
Okay, but for real though, how do you challenge? I don't know how to do this. How do you get it?
I'll tell you in a minute.
No, you tell me right now. You tell me right now. I'm in the middle of the game, and you tell me right now.
In the video, and then I'll tell you.
Ah, damn it. All right. But yeah, that kind of goes back to, NXT has all of this, has this whole performance center and all this, these things that they could do. And I don't understand why they don't build up and create, managers. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, that was our NXT review. Pretty good show. Again, there were too many jobber matches where there shouldn't be jobber matches in developmental. I think we're gonna say that until our throats just explode and our brains just go everywhere. I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how the human body works. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I don't know. It is kind of a weird period where unfortunately they don't have, and this is kind of the pros and cons of having a monthly pay-per-view versus not having a monthly pay-per-view. You have enough time to build up, but sometimes you have too much time to build up to a point where we get periods like this where they don't really know what they're doing. But I mean, hopefully they'll surprise us like they do most of the time. They surprise us. Let's be honest. When we're expecting a show to be really crappy and they pull something out of their hat. But we got some good stuff to look forward to. EY debuting in NXT. NXT slowly turning into TNA basically. So that's going to be exciting. But we should have TNA out probably tomorrow or Saturday, depending on when we get this one up. Hopefully I'll remember to post it tonight, because I sometimes forget. And yeah. But we will see you on the next episode. Until then, follow on the Twitter and like the video, subscribe, comment, share, all that stuff. And we will see you on the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.